And of course, Jersey's finest, all about them bars, marijuana smoker. Hey, PSA announcement. I need everybody go support. That's right, support my fucking state, my city. Heritage Hip Hop, a New Jersey media source that celebrates New Jersey hip hop worldwide. Facts. And we are celebrating our legends right here, Jersey, baby. Please subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop on social media. That is Heritage Hip Hop on social media. Jersey, you know I love you. Jersey, you know we got bars and we got music and we got legends all day. And if you believe in Jersey and you love Jersey like I do, support that Heritage Hip Hop on all social media platforms. This is Redman and I approve this message.
Peace and blessings, and welcome back to the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast, where we introduce you to your future favorite artists today while celebrating the greatness which is hip hop culture. My name is Karev. I am the host, and once again, it's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Be sure when you join us to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell so you know there's notifications to tell you when we're going live. Follow us on all streaming platforms as well. This podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you have your phone, because wherever you stream, Heritage Hip Hop is there. Check the description in the bottom to help us build this platform. You can cash app us, $ Heritage Hip Hop. You could go to our website, heritagehiphop.com, which you see our store, which is affiliated with TeePublic for T-shirts, pillows, whatever you want to get. Or if you like action figures, we are connected with Super 7. So the new figure out right now is MF Doom with the Knicks jersey. If you like that, you want to get it, check out the Heritage Hip Hop store on Super 7. And hey, help us build this thing out to be the standard of what a hip hop platform should be. I am joined tonight by somebody who you may have seen on Heritage Hip Hop before. He is somebody that not only tells his story, but he rhymes with a passion that is very 90s like, but very authentic in his delivery. If you know about the Matrix, you're either caught into it or you're creating the Matrix that alters the life and the sensibilities of those who are affected by it. We are all caught into something. Let's give hip hop its due and let it know about one of the greatest MCs it has that really tells that story. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by Rhymrcka. What's going on, fam?
What's up, baby? We here, man. Heritage Hip Hop. Blessing to be here.
I try my best to do a dope intro.
No, I appreciate it, man. Especially with a dope curator of culture.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate your passion and your seriousness and your direct goal to keep standard and keep proliferating and collecting and disseminating the culture and its information and its legends.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I want to rehash some things we talked about in the last episode. If y'all missed it, y'all can go back. It's on streaming. Just look at Rhymrcka on Heritage Hip Hop Podcast, right? But we talked about things that you've overcome to be an MC. I want to ask you this question. I don't want to talk about affiliations and all that yet.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to talk about is overcoming. Because a black man's story in this country, no matter where you are, is as soon as you've been smacked on the ass, your skin color was a sin and everybody looked down on you. Knowing that you had that beginning and then being groomed in a society where hip hop was the standard for a man to release his voice, how did you overcome society to find yourself in hip hop to give the world your voice?
That would be kind of first upbringing. You know, everything starts at home. So my mom is probably like, one of those last eras of the Black Power civil rights movement. And she's still active member of NAACP. Shout out to the whole NAACP, Staten Island branch. But pretty much my mom, she's one of the ladies that had cut her perm out, had the afro and all that. Was real big on teaching me culture and history. Homeschool, started reading it real early. Probably was talking to adults more than I was talking to kids my age. Really instilled. You remember that reading is fundamental phrase from back in the days? Because, different era. Education is foundation. Information is power. So all those mottos or themes, Schoolhouse Rock. We have education is different than how it's presented to you. And information really was power. Encyclopedias. I used to just read encyclopedias and almanacs and just good books and literature and stuff like that. So I was already being educated academically within the household. And then my whole thing, I'm loving science and just general information. And then being in New York City, having a well-rounded family, despite our shortcomings, our humble beginnings, or how New York City and how society was already built against us as blacks or African American people, because you got to look at where we come from. It wasn't just automatically computers and websites. There was none of that there, and the male role models back then had a hard time at um, making their way and still being a man while still fighting to be recognized as a human being. I mean, if you look back in the civil rights era, they had signs that said, "I am a man." That says a lot. Like, why would you have to have a sign and have hundreds of people picketing and be men and have a sign that says, "I am a man"? When it's already recognized you are a man, you are a human being. So for people to really try to strip you of your humanity and say that you're three-fifths of a man, and that's not even mathematically correct. So to say that you're incomplete, you're not a human being, you're not a man. So that just tells you off the rip what we was going through economic wise, the breaking down systematically of the nuclear family and the extended families. We're probably one of the most fractioned families. Now, don't get me wrong, numbers wise, we are not the most fractured family, because there are other ethnicities here and way more populations of people here that are going through the same, going through struggles and poverty, but for somehow through advertising and marketing, not just for product and music. They try to put us as the face of all these things here, but we're actually not, percentage wise. You went out.
I don't know what's going on today.
I can
Hey,
hear you.
but we here. That's interesting that you say that, because perception is the key to belief through cheating people of understanding through
Right.
falsified vision. You see what I'm saying? And hip hop, Chuck D said, was it Chuck D? I think it was Chuck D who said hip hop was the offspring of the civil rights era. And hip hop now has dropped the ball to the point where it seems that the community is fighting for its identity rather than fighting for its reality. Do you feel that way?
Yeah. And if you take the glitz and the bright lights and the loud music, hip hop has always been revolutionary music. It doesn't have to adhere or answer to the rules and regulations of society, because it wasn't born of society. It wasn't an accepted genre of music. Remember, it was already thrown to the side when they first heard it. They said it's only going to last 5 years. This was a fad. They didn't respect it as music. But if you look at hip hop, it's the only genre of music that has its own music, own sound, own fashion, own language, own art form, culture, uh, and philosophy. Other genres kind of have a shared existence anyway, as opposed to hip hop has always been rebellious because it started from the hood, from the gutter. You got to remember, punk rock and hip hop pretty much came out at the same time. Punk rock is sort of for the white kids that couldn't afford the guitars and the drums and the band set and probably couldn't really play it as well. Hip hop, you couldn't afford the instruments, the bands, and all that. And the blackout, I think was blackout 77, 80. During the blackout, when the blackout happened, after the blackout, you had large numbers of DJs. through the equipment. So the band was the two turntables and speakers. And even at that point, some of these kids would build their own speaker sets. So to come from something that from something to nothing, to come from the bare minimum, because they say that necessity is the mother of all invention. So to have barely anything and then to create a global force, that says a lot in its existence. Now, unencumbered or shackled through the RIAA in the music industry, if I said it wrong, whatever, we don't really necessarily have to listen to them. So when I've seen them talking about how hip hop is not in the top 40 Billboard charts, when did we ever really? When did we need the Billboard charts? Remember, they bought into us. We didn't buy into them. But with the money and you know how the money and the status and the influence, it does corrupt. So we have to maintain our identity at all times. Our voice is there, but our voice is not allowed the volume that originally has because we're going through these controlled mediums. But the identity, the look, the appearance, the perception is being altered and controlled by powers that be, musical and non-musical.
That's interesting because at the end of the day, with everything you said they bought into us. And the most important thing about them buying into us is the story.
Right,
Either they're going to take our story or we willingly gave them the story that made the world take attention to who we are. And one thing I like, I'm lying. Let me stop lying. The one thing I absolutely love about when I heard you is the autobiography. You already know what I think
I
about the
know that's
autobiography.
yeah.
Everybody who does not know, check out the autobiography by Rhymrcka. If you can't find it, well, you'll know how to hit him to get the song. But when an artist tells their story, that's when people can buy in and understand them, their struggle, their story, everything.
Right,
People bought into hip hop because of a gang fight, and the gang people in the gang stopped fighting and made music. People bought into hip hop initially because people stopped fighting in the club and then start battling each other with dances.
right,
People bought into hip hop because hip hop was used to teach inner city kids their value instead of continuing the lie that we had no value. And when it comes to you, not to be long winded, I'm sorry. I found a lot of value in your rhymes because I was able to hear what you wanted to share about yourself. What is the most important part of the rhyme that the listener has to understand when it comes to relating to the artist?
well, it depends on where the artist wants to take them because at a point like aside for what music you hear now, each artist is like a reporter for like CNN for his own environment, his own reality. So when we prior to Melly Mel making a message, it was real braggadocious, which was dope too, because it's like that swagger, that energy that it can show we are people how we look, how I dress, I'm so this, I'm so that. And that was dope because remember, we're not allowed, we don't have the access to all the resources. But when we rhyme, you would think we was top of the world. We rhyme like you can immerse us deep in the mud. We're still gonna rise to the top like cream. You know what I'm saying? The best always rise to the top. The greatness always gonna shine. So when Melly Mel made the message, it showed that we don't have to just rhyme about us. We can rhyme as extensively outside of ourselves what we see and then convey what we see into messages, into sonic images. And when that music came on, and you know what I'm saying, that's like the Matrix. All I did was tell you what I saw the world today and where it's going and trying to put you on to, this shit is about to go crazy. But instead of preaching it to you, like Melly Mel. He didn't preach it to you. He just was, I'm styling on you. I just styled it on you to make it sound entertaining. But when you go back, when you look at the video, you listen to the music, even with autobiography, I'm telling you my story. It was a good part of the story. It's a lot of nightmares I didn't share, but I wanted to make you see me, feel me, understand me. So now that I tell you my story, I tell you where I started from. These are all the influences that created the Rhymrcka. And then from that point, we're gonna go further. We're gonna go wherever we want to go. But when you want to get to the core of me, you listen to autobiography. Because these are all the influences and things and instances that impacted me, that reformed me each and every couple of years, that made me the artist I am now.
But see, that's genius. For all y'all who don't understand, hip hop is full of genius creators and creatives. And the
Yeah.
genius of what I've seen in you is not what you have gone through to be the artist you are. The genius I've seen is how you persevere through change.
Right.
And a lot of artists don't want to change. You've ever noticed that?
You can't always blame the artist,
Oh,
because
no.
no, because it's like a give and take thing. The crowd, the energy that the crowd gives and the artist gives is fair exchange, right? And
Facts.
when you got your show, you got heritage hip hop, sorry. So you got people that tune into your energy and your frequency, right? So these people, you know what I'm saying, you coming on at the same time. It's consistency. People are human beings, are creatures of habit. So consistency is how we get these shows running, where they say programming. Now it could
Right.
be good programming, bad programming, but it's consistent. What we like is a person that's consistent. You know what I'm saying? Just as much as we like people that are the ones that make it through are persistent. You know what I'm saying? So it's persistence and consistent. When we like what we like, we love it. Now, there's times when artists try to change, and you may not have let them change.
That's a fact. I think Havoc said that about Mobb Deep. But they said when he went to G Unit, people was pissed.
But
They didn't want
why
him to
though?
change.
Because they still was Mob Deep. And they
Right.
got to continue to be Mob Deep. You just didn't want it on the G Unit platform.
Right.
So, that's the thing. But they still love Mob Deep. Maybe you wasn't used to Mob Deep and that you was used to them in this vehicle. But now they in a new vehicle. But they still Mob Deep. So it took a little moment, but you still rock with Mob Deep, you know?
Yeah.
MOP. You love MOP. You might get tired of hearing this guy talk about what he talking about, but I love to hear MOP. I know you love to hear him. Blah, oh, I love it. But it's the same thing. MOP is Metallica. You love Metallica. I never heard nobody say, I'm tired of hearing Metallica. No, it's the same thing. You just got to look at our artists as great as you look at those legendary artists. These are the legends too.
Right.
You allow them to, you talking about grow. These guys have been rocking since probably the 70s, and you allow them to grow. Why we don't allow our artists to grow? Why we don't grow up with them? Why we don't turn the corner with them? Why we don't change? So everybody got to be willing to change and grow.
You know what? Let's stay right there. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Shout out to the incredible Honey De Niro. She said, fighting for its identity rather than reality. Well put. I think so too, because hip hop is always going through change. And what are
Yeah.
we fighting for in it? And Drums Rugged said, what up? Peace to Drums Rugged and everybody tuned in. Make sure you hit the like button, share. There's a part of the Heritage Hip Hop podcast that I like to call Let's Build. See it over my face? That right there? That's
Mhm.
called Let's Build. Let's Build means the artist says something so provocative. I think we should stay right there and talk about that, because if Heritage Hip Hop is built on the depth of knowledge of the artist and showing how we appreciate the culture, something you said is very key. How come we don't turn the corner and build with our legends? I'm going to tell you why. You tell me if I'm wrong. A lot of times in our community, poverty has been weaponized against us.
Mm.
So as long as you can find somebody in need, you can find a sucker to give a purpose to. And I say it that way because people get suckered into saying, I'm in pain, I'm messed up. You should give me a chance. And then when they get a chance and they make it, they're not pulling the next person up. It's I got this. And then you're using the inbred, impoverished mindset to do a verse thing, and that trickles into old versus new, style versus style, trendy versus catchy, culture versus fad. What do you think about that?
Well, one time I heard Killer Mike talk, and he made like a great point. He said, "We cherish our legends. Y'all throw away y'all legends." And I said that's a good point because where would we be without our legends? So I love the Paid in Full Foundation and Nas and all them doing, because if we don't respect, it's like you don't throw away your grandparents. Do you throw away your grandmother?
No, I don't do
Right?
two different subjects. Because
But
yes,
here's the thing.
there are people who throw away their elders.
Okay, here's the thing. 10 years from now, you're going to be in a different age group. 10 years from then, you're going to be in another age group. So at what point do you not recognize, by not recognizing our elder and our legends, we're teaching the generation behind us to not recognize us. If
Facts.
we throw them away, the people younger than us are going to throw us away.
I agree, because they're doing it in society now. Malcolm X must prophesied about how the children are going to turn against the parents.
Right.
I don't believe Tupac was a prophet. I'm not going there with anybody. I'll just say the problem is so relevant, he was able to tell you things that were already said, and the problem never got fixed. How do we make the babies that hate the ladies that make the babies? We got there. Unfortunately, I'm a teacher by trade. It's heartbreaking when I go to my students' funerals. Then to have retaliation in the community due to the student that has been passed on, and then every song you hear is about shooting ops and da-da-da-da. Now, I'm not saying that's all hip hop, but when that's pushed to the main, and the elder people are like, nah, y'all bugging. But retaliation living is bred, and cultural understanding is regressed. Not only do we teach people how to throw us away, the money that comes in is nurturing an absence of appreciation of life. That's why heritage hip hop for me was so important. That's why I'm talking to you, and Honey De Niro, and Bad Seed, and Double O, and D Bridges, and all y'all great artists. Shout out to Snooze Daily too. That's my dude. He got a nice project, by the way.
Shout
But
out to Snooze. Yeah, man.
But it's important to have these conversations as well as highlight your music, because we are more than just people who rhyme. You are more of a genius than a person who puts words together. Me saying all that, what do you think about how people throw us away or try to throw things away? And how do you use your music to not be thrown away and to be a catalyst for the change to be a fixture in people's minds and concepts of hip hop?
One, I don't hate young artists. I don't hate the younger artists. Now I hate stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? That's just in general. Because even like with hip hop, it's straight up like this. Either it's a good record or it's a bad record. I don't care what you're talking about. Either the record is hot or it's not. That's just the basic law. It's like breathing. That's just what comes with it. You can be an artist that rhyme about food. I mean, you had the Fat Boys that rhyme about food, but it was dope. It was just dope. That's what it was. And I don't like the, you know what I'm saying? I don't mind young artists coming out with music, because you got to remember the music that you loved, your parents thought it was stupid, didn't get it, didn't understand it. Sometimes you got to sit still and listen to the music and hear what they vibe is. Everybody got a different vibe. It's different energy. You may not be jumping around like that anymore at 30 and up. It's just not what it is for you. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's what we promote. It's what we. It's what we. It's not what we kill. It's what we let live. You know what we promote and what we don't promote. We kill a lot of great artists musically, but we let a lot of garbage fly, and that's on us because we're no longer in control of what we curate as a culture, as a commodity, as a genre. You're letting people in these skyscrapers and everything tell you what rap is. Who are they? Who are these people that control your destiny and your genre and your culture, but are not of it? I don't care how much money you got. You can't tell me who I am. You don't define who I am. You wasn't in the gym when I was taking these shots. You wasn't in these little rooms when I was writing these rhymes. You wasn't there when the bullets was flying. You wasn't there in the crack era. But now you can just step in and tell me what my culture and my era is? Nah. When you're young, you're impressionable. The machine is real big and vast and all that. But at a certain point, you grow up. That's probably why they don't want veteran artists around young artists. Because what's an OG, what's a veteran artist going to do? He going to get a young artist the game. I don't want you to rhyme like me, but I'm going to give you the game. That's just it.
Yo, I'm glad you said that also because, man, yo, that's weaponizing poverty. Don't listen to them because they don't got the money.
Right.
And because the internet open lanes up for more resources, money,
Right.
a lot of people's like, well, you did it the old way, I'm doing it my way. And they block that frame of thinking, which is, like I said, the extension of the bully coon mind state. I want to give a shout out to Honey De Niro. She said, we have become a microwave society and culture. Emphasis is placed on the right now, and there is no thought or concern for the future. And that's an American thing mostly because overseas, they still cherish the authenticity of the inner city voice. But in America, it's always, I want the new, I want the new, I want the new. That's why people rush to spend the most money on a brand new thing to say they got it instead of waiting to see that thing get fixed so then we know it's right. You see what I'm saying? And hip
It's
hop the same way.
yeah, finish what you're saying.
Hip hop. I was just gonna say hip hop's the same way. What do you think?
We're taught to cannibalize ourselves. We even microwave ourselves. Like somebody told me, I think it was in Philly at a music conference, and he's like, "Yo, you got to put something out every 30 days." I said, "I'm not putting out something every 30 days. When I finish what I'm doing, I'll put it out." Like, do you know you're gonna burn yourself out, right? It's called oversaturation. People are fickle. Fans are fickle. They get tired of people. First of all, they've created a short-term memory. We all got some form of the ADHD, you know what I'm saying? You don't remember phone numbers anymore. And that's by design. You don't remember stuff. You can't, your whole mind's turned to a flash drive. So you don't remember, you don't have no heritage, no legacy, no curation. Nothing lasts because you don't even care about your legacy. You don't care about your past. You have no idea of your past. So what is your point of origin? You just here. So the music is just out. There's no build up to it. You don't want to know, you don't want to do the GEO of the situation. You know what I'm saying? There's no search of it. You just hit the button, I type your name in, I get the record, I listen to it for about a week. I need something else. It's crack. It's microwave. We eat our own, spit you out. You're the hottest artist for a week. That's insane. And it's another thing. It's laziness. You got all this. You never heard it. You ever heard you got too many choices? You got so many choices now. You don't really know what to pick. So you just had an impasse. You just stop. But at the same time, with the internet, you got so many. You got so much access to different music. But you just getting bombarded with it. You get trash, dope, trash, dope. You know, come on, man. Does the fan even know what to pick anymore? When I let my homeboy hear the Matrix, right? He had hit me back. He said, "Yo, I had to listen to it again. I forgot what a dope artist fucking sound like." Because he's been listening to so much mediocre stuff, he's numb. So by the time the good stuff come, he had to stop and listen to the record again. I'm glad I got the chance to break the monotony. You know what I'm saying?
Almost definitely, cause I gotta keep it real with you. Everything's monotonous. You got a Knicks hat on. You know, how ass has the Knicks been for? I mean, look. I grew up a Knicks fan. Charles Oakley's my favorite Knicks. Shoot to Charles Oakley. My favorite favorite players of all time went to the Knicks and were destroyed. Shout out to Stephon Marbury and Carmelo Anthony. But
listen, outside of it being a New York thing and rocking New York apparel, I was listen, man. We're not even going to do the Knicks conversation.
Yeah, we're going to do the Knicks conversation.
We're going to do the Knicks conversation.
Thank you for the Knicks winning. Because I was there when Ernie Grunfeld fucked up the team and then gave Patrick Ewing a second star. I was there with Scott Layden took over the team and gave, Willie Anderson that big-ass contract he didn't deserve. I was there through Phil Jackson trying to sabotage Melo. I was there to Isaiah Thomas and everything. What made me pissed with the Knicks, because it goes with hip-hop. What made me pissed with the Knicks is when I saw them carry Charles Oakley out like a bag of garbage. And I was like, this is exactly what hip-hop is for me. It's like you fall in love with this thing, and I've watched it deteriorate. And then the close is, and the close, and the close to the Knicks. But bro, when they threw Charles Oakley out the Garden, I felt horrified because I was like, damn. It seemed like something about something I love gets diminished, and word is born. That's what hip hop did for me. I went 10 years without listening to hip hop because I said I can't relate to this stuff. I don't get it.
Oh, you talking about that when I know what you're talking about, because that's when I came back out.
You're the link to my love for hip hop. Yo, shout out to Rhymrcka because
no, it's just like it got real ignorant.
It got dark.
It got to a point where it was so ignorant that people started wanting to hear content and lyrics. And I sat out for a minute, like 8 joints, outside of medical issues and all that. But I sat out because I was like, at this point, if you come out and you make sense, you trash. It ain't. I heard Pharrell say it ain't even about the lyrics no more. It's about the vibe. So they didn't want to hear that. But it got to a point. It got so out of control, people started wanting to hear bars.
Exactly, and that goes into what I was saying with the Knicks coming back. You know what made the Knicks hot again? A point guard. Because New York didn't have a good point guard in years. The last good point guard the Knicks had, a real point guard besides Jalen Brunson was fucking Baron Davis, yo. And he came hurt. And everybody came to New York hurt. And then with hip hop, everybody started turning on the birthplace of hip hop because they said the sound changed and we don't want that. Not understanding that New York and LA were being destroyed and the South saved it by being authentic. Because New York was about let's control their minds with the radio. Cali was about let's control their minds with the television or the movie. But the South was totally different. And the thing that will bring New York back. It's just people understanding that it never went anywhere. You just have to pay attention to the most important vital things.
I never say stuff like that. Bring New York back.
Please don't.
But that's my personal thing. I just felt like they had an identity crisis like Jason Bourne. They was trying to find themselves again. But it was right there in their face. Like when people be lost, but when they look in the mirror, there you go.
Man, that's too deep for a lot of people. Check this out. Drums Rugged said, I never understood putting out 3 or 4 projects a year. Not really a fan of that. You don't give people a chance to digest the first project. I work too hard for that to happen. I understand, but Drums Rugged, let me tell you something about hip hop. When people put money into hip hop, they've also put executive slavery into hip hop. And I was told this, I could be wrong. I don't know. If you know the answer, please come on the Heritage Hip Hop Podcast or the Mic Council and let's talk. I was told or taught that Jay-Z is the reason why everybody puts out all these projects. because Jay-Z was in a fucked up contract and he sped up the cycles by constantly putting out music to get out of his contract. Then you have the mixtape era, which was let's flood the streets with all our sounds so that we could control the narrative and just put out music, because people would then eat off of their mixtapes, not only off of their albums. So call it what you want about putting out all the stuff and saturation, oversaturation. My point is, when it comes to Rhymrcka, when it comes to 6 Man, when it comes to Ill City Entertainment, Headphone Therapy, all of them, when it comes to that, it comes down to what's authentic and what's not. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about what is authentic when we come back off of this break. Honey De Niro said the algorithm killed it. Well, the algorithm was always there, and we're about to change that narrative right now. So we will be back right after this. Stay tuned.
Where you get your hip hop from? Yeah. What's up? This Tribal Trigger Trench in the building. You already know. Nip, naughty.
Hey, Redman is in the building, of course. Jersey's finest, all about them bars, marijuana smoker. Hey, PSA announcement. I need everybody go support. That's right, support my fucking state, my city. Heritage Hip Hop, a New Jersey media source that celebrates New Jersey hip hop worldwide. Facts. Please subscribe to Heritage Hip Hop on social media. That is Heritage Hip Hop on social media.
What up, y'all, man? It's your boy Do It All, Do Pray Kelly, right here on Heritage Hip Hop, man. Look, man, let me tell you something. Make sure you support Heritage Hip Hop, because without these brothers bringing you hip hop, we're not gonna stay informed, man, the way that we need to stay informed, man. And they're not just giving you hip hop, man. They're giving you the heritage of hip hop right here, man. Yo, Karab, I see you. Heritage Hip Hop, man. Let's do it. It ain't nothing like Heritage Hip Hop.
Heritage Hip Hop always appears, and when it appears, it brings quality people, quality conversation, and quality understanding of the hip hop culture. How we doing tonight?
We doing good, bro.
He said we doing good. Well, let's do.
Bro, we building. We building. We having content, conversation. We talking culture.
Yeah, let's take it up another notch. I want to talk about the one thing we did get introduced to each other for, but I want to talk about the overcoming of it, because overcoming is pretty much the theme. What is epilepsy for somebody who doesn't understand?
Well, it's like your brain has electrical charges. My right temporal lobe, the quad right here, you got 4 quads. The charges are short, so it's kind of like it zaps out. I wasn't born with epilepsy. I had a slow growing tumor in my head since I was a kid. And I one day fell asleep and woke up in the hospital. I had a seizure in my sleep. So the whole thing is still a jarring thing, and not understanding and going through it. It's like almost you, just like that, you got a condition. But, I had a craniotomy, and they took a piece of my brain out. And then from that point on, it's, you got epilepsy. And I was like, no, I don't. Like, I've heard of it, I've seen people fall out, all that stuff, but I was like, I don't have that. And they was like, you do. And then it was like, you got to take this medicine, the seizure medication. And I went through the whole depression, mood swings, the whole thing, because it's like I wasn't accepting it. You're telling me now everything is different. I was deaf in my right ear. I couldn't record, because once I tried to record at a volume that, your recording voice, it sounded like I was underwater. I couldn't hear what people were saying. It was crazy. The seizures, my body tremors, it was like everything was just shot. I remember Kappa, he was like, yo, it's like your hard drive crashed. So it was like, from that point on, I had the long walk back into trying to get back to the old me. But the sad part is, I'm never going to be the old me. I had a photographic memory. That whole run from like 9-3, I wasn't writing rhymes. I did everything in my head. So now it's like I gotta write rhymes. Brain is a flash. People like, oh, we want you to freestyle. I'm like, are you insane? I just told you my whole wave, my whole fucking memory got wiped. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a whole process, or how you remember your verses real fast. It might take me more, or I gotta constrict my muscles so I can sit still, like I'm sitting still in front of you. But my body is trying to tremor and all that. So a lot of this, your brain is, the human brain is so incredible. Like you take for granted walking and chewing bubble gum, walking and talking on the phone. Do you know how many signals your mind going through your neural system is sending out every second? Everything is moving according to the brain, keeping everything like I've had seasons where this whole conversation I had is just unraveling. I'm hearing all of our conversation jumbled at once. So when people hear my music, they be like, yo, ain't no way in the world you have brain surgery and you making music like this. But you know what I'm saying? It's a blessing, and I'm humble. I'm grateful. So all I'm trying to do is finish the mission, bro. I got
Yeah.
sidelined, but I'm just trying to finish the mission. And
Yo,
this is my therapy.
this is why you're one of my favorite artists and one of my heroes, because everybody's going to judge you not knowing you over how you sound, but you sound good. But I think part of your mission in hip hop not only is to rhyme and be good, it's to be
Reach.
it's to be an example and a testimony of not how great God is by you understanding your body, but it's also a testament of how dope we are because we get the chance to learn and understand through your example. Now, I personally apologize that had to happen, and you can say, "Bro, it's not your fault." I'm not taking the fault aspect of it. I'm taking the empathy, and not I can't be sympathetic. I can be empathetic because I don't know what that is, but I can tell you for whatever it is you have gone through, you are one of my heroes because not only you persevere, but you teach me. See, what's the most important thing somebody needs to get from you when they hear you?
Depending on what day it is, it could be take care of your body, persevere, don't quit, don't give up. You're stronger than what you think you are. Stay away from negative energy. Like I've gotten away from so many people. Like when you see me at that last show, I just got out the hospital, and they switched out my medication, so I'm on brand new seizure medication. So I'm feeling all these side effects. You was there. I told y'all I'm having tremors while I'm performing, but it looked like it was part of the show. The way my body was moving to the beat, and people was like, "What?" But you seen it for yourself, you know. So I can only be thankful to the Creator for allowing me to still exist the way I exist. And even when everything happened, I had to take it at a grain of salt. Like, yo, this is a small price to pay to still be alive. Because there's people that was out of here, bro. You know, a lot of people have the same situation I had in my brain, but they can't walk or they can't talk or they don't have no peripheral vision. And I used to be angry for a long period of time. You know what I'm saying? Not not knowing how to accept it because it's not like I did something. And what is genetic or cellular? I can't point the finger to nothing. So it's a lot at times. And I just had to learn how to deal with it, live with it, keep it moving. So it's overcome, improvise, and adapt, like the military said. And when you come from the project, what you do? Overcome, improvise, and adapt. We're not from a soft place. We didn't get the soft cushion when we landed. So adversity goes hand in hand with the skin color, damn near. So either we got the, I heard 50 Cent say, I don't have the luxury to be depressed. I gotta keep it moving. No one's really gonna care. No one's gonna pat me on my back. That's another thing that comes from my home training. My mom's trained me to go, to survive. I've been knocked down so many times in life and in the game and all that. I gotta get back up. This last one really knocked the shit out of me. It took me a little longer to get back up, but I'm gonna get back up. 'Cause that's all I know.
Yo,
Quit, die, stop, die. You don't grow, you don't move, you're not kinetic, you're stagnant, you're gonna die. Whether
mm,
it's physical, mental, spiritual, chemical, you have to keep moving.
yeah,
So that's why I be like, fuck the algorithm. I'm not a slave to no computer program. You can't impress a computer program. You saying I love autobiography, right? It made you feel a way when you heard it. Can a computer program come up to you and say, yo, that shit is fire? It's numbers. So all these people out here trying to impress a computer. When also a computer and these robots and they got all this shit coming out, is all cheap imitations of us. The,
that's
you know what I'm saying? The
that's
computer is an input mechanism. It's a cheap version of the brain.
yeah, yeah. Every mechanical thing we have is a bastardized revision of our human body. And yes, the brain and the computer are synonymous, but there's one thing that the computer does not have that you said, and that's the spirit. And that's the one thing that always drove me to hip hop is the spirit. Now, when anybody looks up your bio, they're going to know that you're a part of Wu-Tang affiliate. You know what I'm saying? If y'all don't know, this man was rocking with American Cream Team. I don't remember all the members. It's not really important, but shout out to
No,
them.
no, no. It's important. You know why?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Shout out to Chip Banks.
R.I.P. Chip Banks.
R.I.P. Chip Banks. R.I.P. Lord Superb.
R-
R.I.P. Mel Carter. R.I.P. Dabba Chief. Shout out to Ray and Power. Shout out to Baby Dad. Shout out to Trife. Shout out to the Architects. Shout out to Ross Sean. That's American Cream Team that survived. So yeah, all parts, remember, all fingers come together and make a fist. So everybody's important.
I didn't
You
want
know
to say
what I'm
it's
saying?
not important in terms of it didn't matter. I didn't want to mean it that way. So I apologize if it came off that way. I just don't like when I interview somebody, well, I acknowledge it because there's just people who are, I call it the phallus Olympics. They dick ride. They be like, oh, he was with them, then they'll pay attention.
Yeah,
Yes, that's a part of your story, but that's not your story only. So
right.
once
I get what
again,
you're saying.
I don't want to over.
I didn't take it. I didn't take it
I don't
maliciously.
want
But
them
I
to take
understand.
it that way either. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
but nah. But that's why I had to stop. Let me give out the flowers and acknowledgement to my crew because that's still my team. Ain't nothing changed. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's
We
up.
all just doing our thing. Twizzy, you already know what it is. It's ACT forever. So shout out to all Wu family, Killer Bees. Shout out to all Wu family globally because I still get a lot of support.
And you know it's funny? We was rocking with American Cream Team and I was in school. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to
Yeah, I
my
should have been in school too.
shout out to my Rutgers University family. Cause unfortunately when Chip Banks passed away, like we was like my man's came to me like, yo, you heard about Chip Banks? I'm like, nah, what happened? Like, he passed away. I'm like, me and him just looked at just like, whew,
And
because
you don't know the impact that you're making when you're doing it. Like you don't know if you're making history in the present. You just don't know. You're just doing what you're doing. You don't know that this you know what I'm saying, one brick, a wall is built one brick at a time.
facts.
You know what I'm saying? And we all put our bricks in the wall to make that structure. You know what I'm saying? So it's like even with the clan is giving me such a alley oop when I start looking back. Like I just was doing an interview at Rappers Out of Control and I'm talking, and I'm going through all the things. And I'm like, damn, they gave me alley oops. I'm part of something that's forever. I'm part of a legacy. You know what I'm saying? And all I gotta do is get up and get, pull my pants up, put my boots on, and get to work. Put my head down, get to work. I got the talent, I got the gifts. Get to work. Nobody's big in the program. Nobody is too big not to work. So that's what I do. That's how I was trained. Get in the booth, get them bars. Hard work. Hard work always get the job done.
So let's talk about that work, because Rhymrcka has a new album out right now called The Frequency.
Yeah.
And I think we really need to spend some time on that, because I think it'd be a waste of interview if we do not talk about the work that you put out.
Yes, sir.
Frequency came out June 23rd, 2025. So it's been.
No, actually, no, it didn't come out in June. It was trying to get loaded up into the systems, and it took me it took about really August, maybe about
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. I kept trying to upload in the system. That's why I went to Bandcamp.
Which y'all should get, by the way.
Yeah, it's
Shout out.
rhymrcka.bandcamp.com. RHYMRCKA.bandcamp.com. Get that album. Cause we ain't really trying to we ain't hating on DSPs, but I'm not a believer in the mathematical fallacy they got going on. Just do the math. You get you a DAW. That's probably $300 to $400. You get your studio set up. Then you get your songs mixed. That's probably, let's say, $200. So we have $500. Plus all the peripheral things you get in your merch, you buying all the stuff. You mean to tell me you're gonna sell that album for a fraction of a penny and they ain't even got pennies in rotation no more?
Yes.
I don't know
Why?
I don't know what math classes y'all took.
Why would they do that?
I'm not here to get paid in a fraction of a penny.
You shouldn't be, but why
I
do people
value
do
my
that?
work.
You shouldn't, but why do people do that?
Listen, very few people will walk against the crowd.
There you
It's
go.
easy to walk with the crowd.
It's trendy. And look, let's enlighten the people. Let's talk business before we go into the album. Are you ASCAP or BMI?
ASCAP.
Okay. Do you know the difference between ASCAP and BMI?
I did at one point, but I can't tell when they both PROs.
I'm going to say this almost every show so every artist knows. ASCAP is for writers, to give the writers what they deserve. Period.
Human Rights Organization. Right.
BMI is to share your music on multiple platforms to get a different type of royalty. So if you are ever trying to get into TV, movies, or anything like that, BMI is the way to go. If you want credit and protection for what you've written, ASCAP is the way to go. So depending on how you're putting your music out and what you're putting it out for, because you can have both. You could be a publisher and a writer on two different things and get both. But that's why, because I am actually looking to sign up for one or the other, or if not both, because I want to learn more about what y'all go through so we could protect what it is. You see what I'm saying? The reason why,
I have friends that have both. I just never went to both. I think I tried to do one or the other, and it's just about one operated faster than the other. And I kind
right.
of built a relationship when you could go to ASCAP. You can go up to the office and they would actually have these booths and you would sit there. That's another thing about being an artist where it's not just you sitting in your room. You got to get outside your room. You got to shake hands. You got to campaign. You got to politic. You got to network with people. You can't just sit in your room. You could, but it
You're gonna
kind of
fail.
shows you're gonna fail. You see, that's the thing about the algorithm thing, man. You can't erase the human condition, the human aspect of this culture. Robots are not going to be in a crowd going, yo, yeah, yeah, singing your verse. It's not that. Bots don't do that. Human beings buy the tickets and they show up and they give you that reaction. They trade off energy with you.
Well, let's
That's
talk about
just it.
let's talk about energy then. We're gonna go into the Frequency album.
Yes.
You got to explain this album to me because I'm kind of confused with it.
What's the confusion?
It's not that it's not good, because it is a good project. No, it's not. It's not a good project. It's a great project. It's a great project because this is a project where you got to sit down and listen, but you're painting a picture with this album that is overarching that the regular people who just listen to music were missing. Please explain what you were painting with this album. There's a reason why the songs are set up this way. I'm not stupid. Tell me what's going on, yo.
No, it's well, the frequency is I was doing a whole different album, bro. I was doing a whole different album.
Okay.
And when I made the beat for Renegade, everything changed. It just changed my whole direction, my whole selection of how I was making beats, everything changed. And it was like, yo, I was gonna call it this, but now I'm on a whole different frequency. Now, frequency sound has frequencies, is different frequencies. So with different frequencies cause your chakras. It's sound. One thing about sound, it goes through anything. Sound waves can penetrate walls, it goes through everything. When you hear a certain record, it makes you feel a certain way. Like you got records for every aspect of your life, especially with black people. Music is our, you know what I'm saying, our with melanin in our bodies, we absorb sound different. I'm sorry. Look how we dance, we on rhythm, we always in sync. That's all sound and frequency. I was just saying, using it in Ebonics way of relating to myself, I am the frequency. I am music. I am the frequency. So this album was just showing me on different frequencies. Like if you was tuning a frequency dial, I was just here. I'm letting you know my inspiration for it starts with the Renegade. The word from our sponsor is the Renegade, because when I was young, there was this ultimate MC called KRS One who had a song called Still Number One, and he said 50 years down the line you can start this, and we'll be the old school artists. And I'm like, oh my God, this dude blew my mind with this album. And he's saying, even in that time, I'll see a rhyme, a brand new style, ruthless and wild. And he was just killing this record. But he's self-prophesizing that 50 years later, because this, at that point, it wasn't even 20 years old. It was a newborn. But he's saying 50 years down the line, we'll be the old school artists. And I'll be still number one. I'll still exist. I'll still be legendary. So I'm basically saying, yo, 50 years down the line, here I am, following in the steps of the legend who's inspired us all to keep it going. You know what I'm saying? I love hardcore music, hardcore rap. Some of y'all call it underground or hardcore music, but that's where I come from. I can do other styles, I could do other genres. I could do whatever genre style of rap you want, I could do it. But this is where I'm cradled and this is my thing here. And I come from an era of bars and we rhyme. And I'm not giving that up for nobody. So if you don't understand what I'm saying, it ain't for you. It ain't about me going over your head. It's about you climbing and rising up to hear what we saying. I'm not here for you to, oh, you going over people's heads. That sound like a them problem. I know who I'm rhyming to. This is
Indeed.
not their frequency. I'm on the frequency of an MC. This is where we at with it. This is the sound, how we going.
I appreciate that because that means you would take no prisoners type of artist that attacks the microphone. But
Exactly.
what you told me about what happened here, medically, you should not be able to do what you did on Overdose. I knew I'd get him with that one. Come on, yo, talk to me, bro.
Now, people will go, oh, 90s with all that. I present myself as current. I don't live out. Listen, I live in the now. One thing about coming out the brain surgery, I don't look at time how everybody else look at time. Because I thought I had all the time in the world, and at that moment, I pretty much was out of here. So when I was in the hospital recovering, I was like, yo, when I get out of here, man, I'm not even gonna sleep. Cause I had a phobia of going to sleep. Remember, I fell asleep and woke up in the ER. So imagine 10 years you scared to go to sleep. So I was just running until I got tired and would just pass out. So, you know, like now I say the sleep is a cousin of death. That's how it felt. But I'm like, I gotta use all and every minute, hour, and second in a 24-hour frame. Time is now. Time is always against us. Time is not our friend. Time is not a luxury. Time is what we're working against. You got 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, 8 hours to get something done. Remember when Tupac said, I got the same 24 hours in you. And where we all steal from to get more time? Sleep. So this is the frequency where my mind is.
That
I'm on
is that
MC frequency right now. 777. You know what I mean? That's my frequency number. That's what I'm on.
mm, God time.
We on God time.
Yo, that's interesting that you said that because oh God. Yo, that's deep, yo. You just made me change how I sat in this chair. Let me just be real with you.
Think about I start with autobiography. I knew
That's
when autobiography came out, people was gonna try to put me in a box to be the autobiography guy every record. No. Lookout Boy. Completely different from autobiography. I did it purposely because they could have made me, oh, the hip hop Sammy guys. I'm not here for that, bro. I'm here to kick ass and rock mics, bro. You know?
I'm with you, but there's something you said that's very provocative, yo. You said how even Pac said we all had the same 24 hours, right? But
Right.
you know what? Ninth Wonder had a conversation with, was it DR period? I'm not sure who it was he was talking to. And he said, yo, all our parents got the same records. It's just how you sample them.
Yeah.
And word is born, it seems like everybody with the trends, right? Everybody want to be the new thing. But sometimes you got to step back and see what you have to take advantage of what you possess. And
Right.
time, we maybe work against time, but time is the one thing that when you possess it, you are the richest, most powerful being on this earth. And when you don't own your time and you give your time away to somebody who does not think something of you, that's when you start thinking, like, damn, what did I do with my life? Did
Because
I
you
my
can't get
time?
time back. So we've all, think about it, we've all given our time to something that wasn't totally ours and gave it our all, like a job or whatever.
Jobs, yes.
Why wouldn't I give my all to myself? It's something I believe in, it's something I love. To leave my legacy creatively here.
Great question, man. I mean, that's the essence of life, man. I mean, even when you have a job, they pay you by the hour. So you bargained your time for a value. And we never get what we deserve. We only get what we negotiate. And
You
some of
don't,
us don't even negotiate.
you don't really get paid your worth
Never.
because
But we'll shortchange.
life is priceless.
So then let's talk about my favorite song from the album. Because we talking about giving it up.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
But you did say overdose.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yes,
Shout
go
out
ahead.
to the producer of Overdose is Peso Poppy, 223. The reason why I love that record so much because that's the current sound. I love 808 music. I love trap music. I love that when the 808 boom. I love it. Um, I try to do different things. Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? I try to make various styles of it. And I try to be a little creative with my bars, with my flow. So that's what really it was. Because you got people that be driving in their cars and they like 808 music, that energy. That overdose is just another frequency, a different energy, you know? So That's just me being creative. Um,
Yeah, they
you
want
can
to turn.
go,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
you can go through the songs like Bone Crusher.
Nah, please, not yet. No, no,
Go ahead, go ahead,
no,
go
no,
ahead,
no,
go ahead.
no, no.
No, go ahead, do your thing. You the
No,
maestro, go ahead. Go ahead,
no, not too
go ahead.
fast. Because there's songs I enjoy that I want you to talk about. And Bone Crush is one of them. But
Go,
I
go,
want you
you
to talk.
go in the order you want to go in.
Yeah, I want to talk about Give It Up. Because
Okay.
you know what? I think Give It Up shows all your non-believers how you know how to control the song and not just make the song. You understand what I'm talking about as an artist? Can you explain that to people who may not understand how the song, how you use it to make that song?
Um, Produced by Phantom on the Beat, co-conspirator on quite a few songs that I've done. But on this project, of course, I'm the producer. But Give It Up, I don't know, something about me and him. We do records. We make a good product. We make good content. But with Give It Up, when I heard the beat, I was like, oh, this is fire. But we was in the car. We was going to shoot the video for Grind Mode, and you all heard the beat. And I just was like, yo, everybody heard the beat. I heard it different. So when I got the record, I'm just sitting there like, yo, how the wordplay, how I'm gonna approach it, how I'm gonna cut through this beat. I'm just looking for my labyrinth, how I'm gonna cut through the beat. And sometimes you gotta let the beat talk to you. Sometimes a lot of people like to force the record. I just let it play because I didn't, people hear the record and just go. I let that record sit and I'm gonna go back and listen to it. And I probably had 2 bars, but it wasn't flowing. And sometimes I stitch them together and I piece them together. And I wanted to craft this record different from the other records on the album. I wanted them not to compete with each other, but have their own feel, have their own frequency, if you will. And we Give It Up, the way that sample and, all the music came in there, I just started rhyming against it, kind of like a jazz musician plays against the trumpeter, the drummer plays against the trumpeter, so I'm kind of hitting it like a drummer. I'm rhyming like percussion against the music, even though I know there's drums on there. But in my head, I was the drummer. So when I finished the records, I kind of try to craft them that they're unique. They're not like his record and his record and his record. When it comes on, you're gonna know that's a Rhymrcka product right there. Down to the drops. I put all the drops in there. How? Because I wrote the rhymes. I know where that beat is supposed to drop out at to give it the creative theatrics to the verses. So it's a lot to it.
I like that song because, like you said, you let the beat breathe and you didn't work against it. But there's certain times when, as an artist, the beat could bring the best out of you. And then there's times when you got to beat the beat to death. And that's why I didn't want you to go on the Bone Crusher, because those two songs are perfect dichotomies of each other. It's the yin and the yang. One, you are lyrically destroying the beat and really going at it. And then one, you're letting the beat lead the listener to your role of greatness. You're letting the beat bring them to you. And other times you're destroying the beat to show the listener how powerful you are with your words. Tell me about Bone Crusher, and I'm gonna ask you a question about the setup of the album right afterward.
Bone Crusher was just like I wanted to be like hardcore deluxe on there. I wanted everything to just be hard. But I wanted you to hear me over these hard drums. I wanted to dominate the record because it was almost like it was a battle. The beat could have overpowered me, like a tsunami in a way. But I wanted to dominate the beat itself. And I wasn't gonna let the beat force me into submission. verbally. So I wanted to display lyrically the dominance of the rapper as opposed to the dominance of the beat. And I just wanted it to be real hardcore, mashed out with the aggression because it was coming on after Renegade. So I wanted to hit him with a 1-2 punch, if you will, a combination.
Okay, wait. I get that. I'm not gonna go through this whole album because y'all need to go get it. Everybody that's watching or listening on Spotify, Apple Music, or wherever you're streaming. But I want to say this. It's funny how you're introducing everybody to you. You talk about 50 years down the line and you're a rebel renegade, must they paid. You start beating the beat's ass with Bone Crusher. Then you fall back to give it up. But then the perfect marriage of both of those, the perfect marriage of all three of those songs was Black Converses. Because you did all three of those songs on that one song. As the album is set up, because that's song number 10, and we talked about the first 5 parts of the album, the first 5 tracks or songs or whatever, with the interludes. It's like you piece the aspects of you as a rhymer together in separate songs and then mashed them together in one song. Was that purposefully done? How do you sequence this? Or was there a message in how you did that?
No, I wanted it, like I was told a long time ago, and because I used to work at a recording studio, shout out to Patchwork Recordings. I got to hang with engineers. When you work at a recording studio, the number one thing people do is try to hang out with the stars. I value my relationships, my friendships with the engineers, because in their conversations with them, they would teach me music theory, music philosophy, why they make certain songs a certain way, and how engineers look at the world different. So at one point, they were saying that albums at this time, they don't sound like albums. All the songs are competing with each other. Like, this is my radio song, this is my street song, this is my top 40 song. And they're not correlating, they're not one concept. So I always had that in my head when I was assembling the album. Also, how do you assemble your album really plays a part in a good album. I wanted it to be fluid. I wanted it to have a continuous energy. I didn't want it to where, certain albums, it's strong in the front and then weak in the end. So I wanted to have an even balance of the song. So that's why the lineup is the way it is. And I wanted it to be raw. I didn't want it to be too complicated. And I wanted to be how they say an easy read with books? I wanted it to be a good listen.
Nah, bruh. Shout out to Rhymrcka because he just called me an engineer. Because every time I make a playlist, I want all my songs to flow. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
If y'all want an example of one of my playlists, follow Heritage Hip Hop on Tidal. I got a DJ Premier presents Gangstar MOP playlist. And hey, you tell me how that sounds. Or listen to my Ragu playlist, Best of Ray and Ghost. Or let's think about this for what he said. I feel most albums suck. Could it be your album? I don't know. It's not this one. But I believe most albums suck because people make a bunch of songs and just put it together and call it an album. Where you got people like you for this album, Ghostface, he always says it, the sequencing, how you put a song together really makes the album, because if you have a time where people be like, I don't like it, and you get them high and low, you're playing with the ear that they're not enjoying it. It's like, okay, I gotta listen to this. Let me skip that. You don't want anybody to skip. You want them to have a full experience. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I want to say, I'm an engineer too. He called me an engineer. I want to say One of the masterful things that people try to create that they fuck up is called the trilogy. And everybody knows the trilogy, part 1, part 2, part 3.
Yeah.
There's a trilogy on this album that really stood out to me. And it was the end of the album. An interlude, a song, and like an exit. Warning interlude, Killer Elite, and Exit Strategy was like perfectly placed. Is there a reason or a story behind those 3 songs and how you ended the album that way?
It's a story. It's cinematic because remember, I'm a rebel. I'm a renegade, and with Killer Elite, shout out to Snooze Daily and Honey De Niro who feature on the song Killer Elite. So I'm like, we about to get into this real bar session. So we sonically it's the warning. Like you hear the conversation, the gunshots. It's like imagine you in a building, the police surround the building, we going out. The exit strategy, we listen. The haters are the police, the critics, the doubters. We the Killer Elite, the best of the best. And we ain't got no other choice. We can't go back. Sonically on this album, I ended with a group record. And we going out guns blazing. So I just wanted to give it a cinematic effect, if you will.
I think it was masterful. Ghostface had one of the, I think, the most slept on albums of all time, which was Bulletproof Wallets. And the way, me too. And the way he ended the album with him and Trife doing the last joint back and forth and the beat rocking, out those crystal. And the way he ended the album was like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And I got that from this because it also reminded me of Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, Natural Born Killers. Because the ending of the song makes you go, what, like, what's next? And like, to know that's the end, that's what made me appreciate this project. Because some projects that you listen to when they end, you're like, all right, that was cool. But this one, it was like, wait a minute. The exit strategy kind of reflected the intro. And I remember Pac saying, you know, you like this, you might as well rewind it because you know you want to hit this motherfucker again. And I was like, yo, you got to sit with that because most people would just listen to music be like, ah, that's good. Oh, yeah, I could dance to it. Oh, yeah, I could just do that. But when you have something that makes you connect to something at the beginning, it's a complete thought. It's a complete idea. And that's the lost art of hip hop to me, is that a lot of people make things, they just dancing and doing this and feeling on a butt and getting drunk and getting high, but they're missing the entire purpose of the thought process of the album. I give you much respect for that on this project because at the end of the day, even in the business world, they tell you have an exit strategy because anything can happen and you got to protect yourself. I think you protect yourself from the mainstream with this because having an exit strategy on this album will make people go back to say, wait a minute. If somebody knows what an exit strategy is, they're going to want to understand how it fits into that album. And if a person really understands what an exit strategy is, it's, wait a minute, what did I just get that he walked away from? Shout out to you for that.
Thank you.
Where do you want this? An album is a baby. How do you want this baby to grow? And where do you want it to take off? How do you want it to nurture?
I want it to grow and develop not just a project into an album, into an experience that hip hoppers, people in the culture, MCs, people that love to hear that sound, that noise, because you know it's really noise. We about noise. Sometimes when we make it too soft and too, malleable, and it's like this is perfect for the, the non-consumer consumer. But I want this album to really reach places that maybe Autobiography didn't get to. I wanted to coast to coast, continent to continent, city to city, country to country. whoever's got a mic, you know what I'm saying, whatever open mic place, stage, hip hop culture where the graffiti is still on the wall. I want this album to go.
I think we should end right here because you know what? We have another part of the interview, but I think it's important for you to plug yourself and plug the album. So stand on your square. Tell them who you are. Tell them your social media, where they can get the album, and why it's important for them to have it. Go.
Peace. This is Rhymrcka. My social media is Instagram, Twitter, X, TikTok. It's at Rhymrcka, RHYMRCKA. I got this new banging album out called The Frequency, and it's available on rhymrcka.bandcamp.com, RHYMRCKA.bandcamp.com. It's raw, it's hip hop, it's bars, it's beats, it's creative. Check that out.
I appreciate the conversation today. I hope we did great. I always want to respect you by giving you a great interview because
I mean, we always have a good conversation, and that's the great part of a conversation that we always come back. We leave with a good understanding that we elevate our comprehension of each other, our ideas, our thoughts, and we convey them not only to ourselves that people can join in this conversation. Maybe we spark a few brains, create a new conversation, and people understand what we're saying, and they can take it elsewhere.
Yeah, because I mean, I just this is my ultimate way of saying thank you to you and to people who make music because I hate when I see interviews and people ask you, "Hey, what do you think about the clips? The clips are not on your album and they're not celebrating you." People always talk about sex or something. Everybody likes some sex. It's gotta be the main thing you talk about in an interview. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it doesn't highlight you. So I'm very humbled to say you gave me the opportunity to talk about your creation. I always ask people, how do you like being on Heritage Hip Hop? Not because I want you to build me, thank you, but because I just want you to know how much I appreciate having the opportunity to talk to someone who creates, and y'all inspire me too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm beyond humbled. So I just want to say thank you to you for appearing on Heritage Hip Hop for the second time.
Thank you for having me for the second time. Thank you for allowing me to be on your platform. And I appreciate your journalism, man. Like, you do research, you ask questions that people don't ask. You try to expand people. You know what I'm saying? You try to educate people as well as entertain them. And as a curator, we need people like you that take our heritage as well as our hip hop serious. You know what I'm saying? You need that, man, because there's a lot of crash dummies with microphones in front of them that don't need to be talking. We need leadership,
Yeah,
not
that's
mouthpiece, you know?
yeah. So let's go into the rapid fire questions. Ladies and gentlemen, the rapid fire questions are not yes, no questions. These are questions that show the depth of knowledge of the artist that's on Heritage Hip Hop and in their knowledge of hip hop as a culture. But since this is his second time on the show, we already know what the legacy he wants to leave behind and all that. We're going to ask new questions for this one. And I'm going to focus on one of my favorite MCs. Hi, Honey De Niro. I love Honey De Niro. If y'all didn't know that. And shout out to my man Snooze Daily. I love hearing Snooze Daily's music.
Yeah, man.
I heard Oh Lord,
Shock the world.
my man, yo, we was on it, and you have a song with both of them together. So question number one of the rapid fire questions is Rhymrcka, Honey De Niro, and Snooze Daily the next Militia, like on the Gangstar albums?
That's my answer.
Because I see something there that, hey, cousin, like they say, yeah, but I see something there that's pretty special. What do you think?
Me?
Yeah.
I think we gel together good. I think we got good camaraderie, good energy. And it wasn't like when we did Killer Elite, it wasn't even a hard task to do. You know, sometimes MCs, it's just what it was. Because if you listen to the hook, we shouting each other out on the hook.
Yeah. And that's
You don't
great.
hear it, you ain't never heard no hook like that where we shouting each other names out. So it wasn't no. It that tells you it wasn't no ego on this. It was all creative.
The thing I think killed people's appreciation of hip hop is the feature is overdone. But what
Mhm.
makes people love hip hop is collaborative projects.
Yeah,
So, unfortunately, Guru passed away. I don't know. Did Big Shug pass away? No, it wasn't him.
I don't know.
No, it wasn't him. But unfortunately, Guru passed away, and we had Guru, Big Shug, and Bumpy Knuckles. A great shout out to Bumpy Knuckles, a great that we need to talk about more. And the militia turned into something amazing. I wonder though, Snooze Daily, Rhymrcka, Honey Dinero, is there greatness that we're sitting on that we were previewed into? Or is this something that people will be treated to that they don't understand and something could come later?
I don't know. Maybe we like GE. We bring good things to life.
But GE also makes products. Yeah.
I mean, we very supportive of each other. Just like I want to just say, shout out to Snooze Daily. New album Shock the World. I think it's November 26th. We really moving in a community fashion. That's something you don't see in hip hop. Unfortunately, it's a very brutal, competitive sport where people feel like, you know, they can't help each other, they can't support each other. The Bitch album just came out for Honey Dinero. The Frequency album, we try to support each other. I mean, we did an album. You can tell when people make records together and they don't fuck with each other no more. So it wasn't genuine, but we try to be genuine, or at least I try to be genuine, and the people around me try to be genuine with the music and the collaborations, because that's what made hip hop fun. People collaborating. That's what made Atlanta strong. Collaborations, appearing, and people. Everybody too cool for school now. You know. Ain't nobody rich. They ain't even rich, but they too cool for school, so it's kind of funny. I laugh. It's cool though.
Hey man, I say it like I mean it, and I mean it with truth. When you have three artists that are very well produced, very well spoken, people who are artists and not people who just rhyme, you
Hmm.
get to something very special. And I think when people hear "Shock the World," November 26th, Snooze Daily's new album, but people hear "Bitch," Honey Dinero's new album. Before I, what is it? Totally Crush
Before I totally crush him
him
or
or
her.
her. That I'll try to remember, honey. I'm sorry if I mess it up. But and that's a project. Look, this is the thing I love about y'all. Oh, let me hear that Honey Dinero. Ah, you listen to Honey Dinero? I don't know who Honey Dinero is. And at the end of the album, it's like, yo, Honey Dinero, nice as hell. I took my mans to that event we were at, and he
Right.
heard the album to that was funny, honey. He heard the album on the way up there. He's like, yo, that's dope. Do you have more of her music? I love that. When I play Rhymrcka and people are like, who the hell is this? Yo, what? Yo, you have more of his music? I'm able to push people to your direction so they can understand that. When people be like, what do you listen to? And I don't name none of the people that's in the mainstream, and I name y'all, you understand why.
Oh man.
That brings me joy. That's what I like. So here's the next question for you based on the Killer Elite, because I want to stay there just for this. Um, what is the best thing about Honey Dinero? What is the best thing about Snooze Daily? And how do each one of them bring something better out of you when you're in the booth with them or on a song with
Um. Well, De Niro's just hardcore killer. You know what I'm saying? She just killer. Um. I know there's a lot of female rappers out there, but she can go. She can rhyme with the guys. I think that's real dope. She holds her own with the guys, and she's revered by the fellas. No shade or nothing like that. But when you can, like that's like Rage being in the dog ground, you know, where she can hold her own, and the fellas can step back and just let her go. You know what I'm saying? She just gonna kill. We ain't gotta get on stage or nothing. She gonna kill. Snooze, Snooze. I don't know. Like I'll be cracking joke. I'll be like, Snooze G-Rap. You know what I'm saying? Like smooth guy, real cool, no ego, um, likes to work, and that's like I always crack. You know, that's my shooter right there, man. Those the shooters right there, and they down to work, and it's like it's no difficulty. We can build, we can talk, we can laugh, we can vibe on some real artist shit, on some real people thing, and he holds his own, and his sound is his own, and that's the real important thing is about having your own sound, and I fought to even have my own sound. You know, so like I got records with Phantom, but I got my own sound distinctively. And that's the first thing you learn coming up in the game is originality. And that's the one that like Snooze got his own sound, De Niro got our own sound. We're original amongst ourselves. And the energy is good.
I like that. I got 2 more questions and we're gonna fade to black on this one. One is philosophical, and it's the question: what kills hip hop more, the playlist or the algorithm?
I would say we all got playlists. We all got our personal playlists. So I wouldn't really say that, but I would say the corporate invasion and expansion of algorithm based stuff, AI based bot culture, uh, cannibal consumerism, fucking algorithm, man.
But okay, devil's advocate. Honey De Niro says algorithm as well. But the playlist is the algorithm. Think about it this way. We're gonna keep it New York.
Well,
I could be wrong. Okay.
wait. When you say see when I hear playlist, right? I'm thinking like how Eclipse and them, they put together, you know, they listen to their joints and they put together their playlist. I'm not thinking a playlist like the platform made it. I'm more into playlists that human beings, DJs, people like you put music together. When I think playlist, that's how I think. Now, if they got their own automated shit, you know me.
I agree with you.
I
But
will not be a slave to your fucking robot dominion.
I agree with you. Now check this out. So I remember 50 and Ebro had this conversation with 50 went at Ebro and Ebro got in his feelings. No disrespect to either one of them. I respect them both. But when someone sets the playlist, they influence the ear to whatever the playlist is dictated towards. I believe, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, the playlist killed hip hop in some instances because it took away the expansion of ears to what only people think you want to hear or what people make sound similar. Like, for instance, the greatest hip hop show of all time to me is Video Music Box. And Video Music Box, my favorite episode of Video Music Box, let me tell you what my favorite episode of Video Music Box is. It was 1993. And I saw Protect Your Neck for the first time in my life. And I looked at the screen like, what the hell is that? And then right behind it, MOP came on. How about some hardcore?
Mm-hmm.
I got punched in my left cheek and my right cheek. I'm like, what the hell is that? And then right after that, I heard Bone Thugs and Harmony. I said, what the? I was all over the place like, yo.
93 was a crazy year of music, right?
Now, when you think about a playlist, it's, and no disrespect to artists, I don't want to name any artists, but it's like, this is hot because of this. This is hot because of this. We're just going to keep it hot and did it, and it's just that. So the playlist kind of took over the expansion of regions and just gave you trendy. Yet the algorithm says, like you said, the biggest number in the world is 1. All this is zeros and ones. So the algorithm says, this person is listening to this, so then I'm gonna give them this because I think that's what they should have. Like I said, I made a DJ Premier presents Gangstar MOP, and I did the whole playlist of just songs that Premier produced with just Gangstar MOP, just for myself. And then right after that, Common the Light came on. I'm like, that don't even make fucking sense. Because that's not in my playlist. That's what the algorithm gave me. So I'm looking at it in that type of way. What do you think? That was funny. Go ahead, bro.
Do I look like the type of motherfucker that listens to playlists all day, or do I listen to what I want to hear?
I think that's the point, though.
If you, I mean, and I'm not saying you don't have Pandora and you're corny if you whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not chasing these motherfuckers around, man. This shit is crazy because, man, fuck that bullshit, bro. Fuck the, oh man, fuck the algorithm, bro.
Yeah.
If I play my record, like let's say you got a playlist, you got a platform, you start spinning records. If I send it in to you and you hear it, you be like, yo, this shit is dope. Your shit getting played on my next playlist. Simple as that.
Yeah.
How the fuck am I gonna convince a number crunching program to play my record? It's a
Yeah.
new record. It has no numbers. So why would it pick up the record?
Yeah. Shout out to Honey De Niro.
And
She said, I think about when we used to make our mixtapes by recording off the radio by popping the tab on the tape and stuffing it with tissue. Yes, that was our playlist back in the day, which was still us being given a whole bunch of stuff from different regions, and we still got to say, this is what I wanted, and it exposed us to different sounds. Now the algorithm is just, this sounds just like this, so you may like it, or it's trendy, or somebody paid for this spot, so just shove it in there, and it is what it is. And that's not only computer-based, that's radio.
I don't know. The problem is the program director won't play your music, and but that's still a person. He you know what I'm saying, he could be convinced, and money, and money. So now, how do you pay a program? No, you pay the person that runs the program, or you got the what is it? It's just weird to me that people would subject themselves to bullshit.
Yeah.
You subjected, like you're gonna be a slave to a computer. You're gonna be a slave to non-entity things. You're gonna be a slave to bots. You know the shit fake. You know the shit fake. So the only real thing you get is playing the record. Boom, that shit come on. You know what I'm saying? Or you like, yo, this shit's trash. Fuck this record.
Yeah. And you know
Motherfucker,
what?
a determined motherfucker gonna keep coming back with a new record, a new record, a new record, and get it played. But if it's all your shit is all type this in and what the fuck? People
And,
getting lazy anyway. But that, you know what I'm saying? I'm not here to complain. I'm here to tell you, fuck that algorithm shit, bro.
but you know what's funny? We're talking about this, and you have a Purple Rain shirt on. Rest in peace to Prince, who was against this stuff from the beginning.
Listen, that's another guy that had a big record deal, right? And he started putting out mad albums to get out of the deal. He had a 10 album deal for like what, 100 million? You remember? But what they didn't know, this motherfucker is a record producing, recording, knocking out albums fast as fuck artist. And he knocked out all the albums, so then they had to try to slow it down. Like, no, we're not gonna accept these records. They didn't know that this dude could turn out albums that fast. And then they got into a deadlock between them not letting them out of it or honoring it. And he's like, yo, y'all got me as a slave. Some people say, how do you be a slave? You're rich. No. 10 albums, was it 10 million an album, right? He knocked them records out fast as fuck, but they wasn't going to honor it or not let him out. Then he's locked in the deal. So he spent all that time getting out of it and pretty much gave us the internet game, right? He pretty much gave us the internet game as a mainstream artist. And then what do? You sign all your shit off to these motherfuckers. They're not even record labels. They're tech companies. The fuck? Fuck out of here, man. Fuck out of here. Kareem, what we talking about?
Evil. And that goes into my final question for this interview. direct to consumer, direct
That's
to
the
consumer
way.
coming back.
The way.
And the reason why it's coming back is because people saw not only how mainstream, it took mainstream artists like Snoop and them to complain, but you know what really happened to make people look at why the SEO and GEO is important and why things are going on? Because Spotify, who everybody trusts because it was free, right? Spotify was cited for not only how they use the artist, but how they maximize the profit off of
6 billion.
song and using it for their own purposes. So for everybody out there who doesn't get what I mean, let me put it to you this way. Spotify, I won't say it's a phone. Spotify is a hard drive. And what you did was give them what access this thing to survive, which is your money. So what they did was they gave you the cord, the fraction of the penny, to pacify you with the idea that you're going to make money, where they used your song any way they wanted to make millions off of having the thing that you put into this hard drive.
They need 6 billion.
Off of you.
Yeah. Or for all of us.
Yeah.
And then people going, you know what people say to me? Yo, why are you putting it on Bandcamp? Because I'm selling it for whole dollars.
Yeah.
I invested X amount of dollars, hundreds of dollars into a project. Why would I sell it for a fraction? A fraction of this? Not the whole penny, but a fraction. 10,000th, 100,000th of a penny. Yeah, man. Go ahead with that.
So then here's my question to you.
Drug dealers sell coke for a fraction.
That's funny. That's why I say don't stream. I tell people buy the album because you can't stream your food, so don't stream the album.
Right.
You buy your meal, buy your entertainment. But I want to add, so that's what begs the question. If direct to consumer is coming back, what's the best way for an artist to connect with the fan base or with new people so that they look forward to their release, not just honor the one release that they have in their hands or that they're buying at the moment?
I think it's about taking a digital approach and mixing it with a grassroots aggression or plan. And it's about first of all, direct to consumer never really went anywhere. It was just restructured. Like subscriptions are direct to consumer. I subscribe to you. You got a website. I try to tell people, I said, listen, you know, if you got a website, that's global access. So it's all you got to do is redirect potential customers, your fan base, and potential listeners to this website, which is yours. The website is accessed globally. Anybody that types in your website, they can go there, and then they can buy your merch, they can buy your media, and they can buy your music. That's all it is. Direct to consumer, and now you have the phone. We can move. Just like me and you are talking directly. That's the same thing. It's hand in hand. Hand in hand never really went nowhere. It just got more sophisticated and put through programs and apps. So if you want to keep working in a giant, vast platform with thousands of people that can't get to you, because now I got to pay for everything to get you to look at me. So yeah, we own all our music. We own the royalties. We own all the mastering. But now here's the hustle. Now you still got to pay us all this money so we could put you on the front page of our platform for like an hour. What they catching people for? Like a day, right? Like you paying $150 for 3 hours or something like that. Come on, man. You too dumb not to see it, or you want to be accepted so much that you're willing to sacrifice all your work and all your product and intellectual properties.
And that's what it comes down to. Because that's what we talked about in this interview. which
Oh,
is identity.
correct. Let me just say this.
Oh, no doubt.
I seen on the internet how they was saying, oh, the artists are not on top 40 and and they're blaming new artists for wanting to own their property, their product, their work, their creative product. You mean to tell me the reason why we're not on top 40 is because all you artists want to own your music? When
Yeah.
did ownership become evil? I've never seen
In the music industry?
I've never seen house niggas actually try to lead the runaway slaves, the freed people, back to the plantation. So it's the new artist's fault. That's insane, bro. You're gonna shame people for wanting to own what they create.
Yes.
They the illest, man. They the illest people on
Yeah,
the planet.
it's power. Yo,
So
let's
what does that tell you? It's a problem.
fucked up.
It's a problem that y'all owning y'all shit.
Yes.
And all these industry heads, y'all not getting paid the way y'all used to.
Facts. You know the famous Taylor Swift story, right?
Which one? When with the TikTok thing?
Taylor Swift's and you know Taylor Swift is one of the biggest artists in the world.
Right.
All y'all folks out there, nah, Beyonce do this, Beyonce do that. Beyonce do not have Taylor Swift numbers. Taylor Swift is one of the biggest artists in the world. And somebody stole, or somebody, I'm sorry, shouldn't say stole, allegedly. Taylor Swift's publishing, whatever it is, was bought without her knowledge. It was bought from her label, and she did not know. So Taylor Swift makes 2 versions of every album. She has,
I heard about that.
right.
I heard about
she
that.
has the label version, and she has the Taylor version. And she tells all her fans, I have a new album coming out, but if you're a real fan of Taylor Swift, buy the Taylor version.
Yeah.
And how she connects with her fan base is those little things that they make for their arms. And she tells them, if you have the Taylor version, come out to my events and we will do something with the Taylor version for you. So yes, what she did was she remixed her own album, and it's her own, and it's her version of that album. So when her first album sold like 5 million, the Taylor version sold 5 to 10 million because she galvanized her fan base because it was wrong for her to own her publishing. And what she did was go up against them to get her publishing or cut it back by putting out her own stuff. And is that wrong for them? Yes, because you're taking money out of their pockets because they put all the money up for you to do all this stuff. And is it right? No. Is it righteous? No. But at the end of the day, you are the creator of this thing. How do you direct to consumer or own your fan base so that you stick up for them by giving them great music and they stick up for you by buying the music? Shout out to
You know what she just said, right? She just did what I said.
That
Direct to consumer by digital means, by technology means. She used the medium of technology to do DTC, direct to consumer. So there it is. It's possible, it works, it can happen. You just gotta direct your traffic. Direct your traffic. That's it. And don't be afraid, man. Don't be scared to stand out on the corner by yourself without the big corporation and with their arm around you. You listen. What's the point of being independent if you can't be independent? You're gonna have to work harder. You're gonna have to do more of your own work, but then you get all your money.
I guess that sums it up right there. Why be
Rhymrcka.bandcamp.com. The Frequency album is out now.
And it's a dope album. So make sure y'all do what you got to do to get that album. I got mine. Y'all need to get yours. Shout out to Honey De Niro on the check-in. Shout out to Drums Rugged. Shout out to Snooze Daily. Shout out to everybody who chimed in and watched this interview on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Shout out to everybody that's listening to this on Spotify, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, or wherever you stream your podcast. I thank you for giving us your time. Thank you for giving us your ear. And most importantly, thank you for giving Rhymrcka a chance to show you why he's one of your future favorite artists today and helping us celebrate hip hop culture together. Any last words?
Shout out to all the supporters. Shout out to Team DCM. Shout out to everybody that's supporting by buying the Frequency album, buying the Bitch album, and 1126, Shock the World, Snooze Daily album. We out here.
So make sure you support, make sure you stay tuned, and give God the glory, because hip hop ain't going nowhere, and we aren't either. May the Most High bless you all. We say peace, and we out.
Real hip hop. Real hip hop. We here.